What's up, everybody? My name is Vince. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, you might not know that previously we did a review on Milwaukee's hole saws, impact hole saw bits. It was this 3-pack kit, and it did really great in a lot of drilling duties. It's intended for PVC, which it did well in. It also did great in light metal. We weren't able to test stainless steel, but the one place we had some hiccups was in this heavy steel. And on the packaging, it has an I-beam as an applicable material. Some of you said the reason the hole saws failed was because of operator error. Some of you believe that we shouldn't be drilling through heavy steel with these hole saws. Today, we're going to find out which one of those reasons is correct. It's coming right up after this word from our sponsor. All right, so here's the deal. In that previous video, the issue with heavy metal was this pilot point. If you want to see how these bits did through the other materials and how these pilot points snapped in heavy steel, go to this video here. Go check it out. We're not gonna bore you with redoing the same video over again. Our goal is to answer your questions and comments on how and if we can actually get these hole saws to drill through this 1/2-inch thick angle iron. This is our second pack of bits. I will let you know this 3-pack that includes a 7/8, an 1 1/8, and 1 3/8 bits. It's in and around $35 after tax. You're looking close to $40 for these three drill bits. And here's the deal. This is our second pack. So we're well into the $70, $80 range for doing this testing to let you know, what's the application? What are the best applications for these bits? Now, I know we broke some bits. This might not work out the way we want it, but I wouldn't call it wasting money. You want to know why? Because if you learn a lesson in life, right, it's never a waste. It's not a waste. It's not a waste. Now, here's the deal. Some of you said we had to be using more oil to cut through this heavy steel. Some of you told us that we should be drilling a pilot hole first so that the pilot hole isn't overstressed when going through the heavy steel. Some of you said that as we're drilling through the steel with this pilot bit, we should be cleaning out the hole continuously and adding more oil. Some of you said you shouldn't be cutting heavy steel with these things. They're not made for it. So we took all that into account. And for the sake of making these bits last so I can add them to my toolkit, we're going to try from the least stressful to most stressful recommendations, okay, and see how we make out. I'm going to get the package open here. Good Lord. I'm going to use my Power 3 from Spyderco. It's in blue-purple. This is not a sprint run, but it is an upgraded steel. It's S110V steel. It's made in USA Earth. I tell you, I like the knife. I got to see if I can find a link for it on Blade HQ is where I bought mine. Maybe I'll put a link down below. If it's not there, though, it's just because I couldn't find it. Well, I didn't have time or something. I'll have some kind of excuse. For the sake of preserving these bits, I'm going to start with the smallest one first. This is pretty heavy-duty application we're trying to use these on. So we're going to pull out the 7/8 bit first. I do like that these are self-ejecting. I have a little spring here in the middle. Like I said, if you wanted to find out more about them, how they perform through the various materials, you can go and check out the link up above. Now, what I'd like to do first, I feel would be the least stressful on this bit, especially the pilot point, would be to drill a pilot hole. So what we're going to do is we have our shockwave bit set. And what it looks like here is the pilot bit on this hole saw. It's about 5/30 seconds. The other thing that I did notice, I want to make a note of this. The pilot bit pretty much broke off, snapped, shattered. And I don't know if it's because of the tool steel that was used. Maybe if something on the line of this titanium bit was used, maybe that would work. I don't know. I forgot to mention one of the recommendations for using these hole saws would be to use it in a drill press. The thing is that these are supposed to be used in conjunction with your impact driver. They're rated. It's rated for an impact driver. And I don't see people, I guess you could use a magnetic hole saw, you know what I mean? Or a drill press. But, this is the intended tool. It's on the packaging. In the spirit of completing this test with nothing but an impact driver, what we're going to do is we're going to find a little spot here on our angle iron. We're going to drill a pilot hole. I forgot also, another recommendation was very slow speed. That was the recommendation for the hole saws. And in those comments where they recommended very slow speed, we weren't recommended, anything else. Literally, it was you're using too high of a speed. So as we get further through the tests, maybe we will try these hole saws at just a very slow speed without drilling pilot holes. We're going to put down our safety glasses. We're going to drill our pilot hole. I will say this, these shockwave titanium bits do a good job of ejecting the steel. Look at that. Pretty cool. And they're sharp, very sharp. The metal away from the hole. Let's put down some more oil. Now that we have a little reservoir created. Slow speed, moderate pressure is what you all said. We're going to put a little bit more cutting oil. Fill that reservoir back up. We want to keep that drill bit tip nice and cool. Now, I will say this. The shockwave titanium bit did a really good job getting through that half-inch steel. So at this point, we're going to pop it out. Not much fanfare with that. We're going to pop it out. And we were literally on the brink right there. Almost a perfect hole. So we're going to pop in our hole saw. Okay? At this point, I want to lubricate around our pilot hole. And once again, we're going to use moderate pressure. We're going to use moderate pressure. Okay? And slow speed. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to back this out. And a lot of comments concurred with our findings here. The point in which this pilot point snapped seemed to be as the impact driver began to impact. I will say this, our pilot bit is still intact. We wanted to just fill up that indentation, the beginning of the cut, with some oil. Now, I will say this as well. I want to clean our teeth fisses here. We're getting some buildup because of the oil. And let's put a little bit more oil inside of our hole. Because of the size of the hole saw itself, it's a lot of material to remove, and we're getting that impacting from the impact because the impact driver is being met with resistance. The more I press down, the more resistance it's being met with, and the more this is going to impact. So I want to try to keep it somewhere in between impacting, keep it from impact. I want to press down enough that we have moderate force, but I'd rather this tool not impact. With all of that debris coming off the steel, I feel like we're grinding down the teeth, but they do still seem pretty doggone sharp. Put down some more oil. Plenty of oil. Plenty of oil. A lot of people also mentioned that we were creating so much heat that whatever oil was there was burning away rather quickly. So we want to just keep on pulling out that bit. I will say this. We have no broken teeth yet. No broken teeth. Trying to keep that moderate pressure. Trying to keep that moderate pressure. Teeth are pretty clean. We got plenty of oil down. We're not getting any smoking yet. We'll put down a little more oil. I will say this. Although we don't have any snapping of the teeth yet, we're not making much progress we're not making much progress getting through the rest of the steel. I'll put down more lubricant. I'm trying to balance the driving speed, or the drilling speed, the pressure, to keep it from impacting. Add more oil to remove some of that fragments of steel. I feel like the hole saw itself is just dulled. I want to do a little test. I mean, if we can make it through the thin wall steel here on this box, we'll know that the whole sole's not dulled. Okay, the pilot point's in perfect condition. We'll say this. So those teeth are still pretty sharp after trying to get through that steel. Okay, so we went through our box. It ejected our little blank. Pretty cool. So the teeth are still nice and sharp. I just don't know why we're having such a tough time here. Let's add more oil. And this is the deal. I don't want to add so much downward pressure that this impact starts impacting like crazy. But I feel like we're not getting enough downward force. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around. I feel like we need something a little lower to work on. And we're not getting any impacting. Can we get through? Can we make it through? Maybe if we work from the other side, since we already have a pilot. Let me put some oil on there. Maybe we can go like this. I feel like we should clamp it down. So you can see it's still cutting. Teeth on the whole sole are still intact. Time to switch batteries. Here's the deal. Okay. So, as you can see, after trying to make it through this 1/2 inch thick steel, you know the process. We started on this side. You know, thought maybe If we went through the other side as well, since we had our pilot hole, maybe we can make it through. After we tried that, and I'm not saying you couldn't eventually get through there. I'm saying that it's just taking such an absurd amount of time. Is it worth it? Is this the right tool for that job? It's obviously not. You can see that even though we did all that drilling, we still made another hole here in this light steel. I wanted to make the video because I wanted to illustrate that our first attempt, the pilot point broke. We took that out of the equation by drilling a pilot hole all the way through, and then we're met with the hole saw not being the right tool to make it through this heavy steel. So it wasn't necessarily operator error. It's just that it's the wrong tool for the job. Some of you said that. I think you're probably correct. Now, we've noted previously that it says steel, I-beam. There's an I-beam here, okay? So one might assume that you would be able to drill through heavy steel with this. A couple of you left comments on our previous video where it says for thin steel. I just want to reiterate, there's nowhere on here. The only reference to thin is right here where it says thin wall, 8 teeth per inch. That's the construction of the hole saw, not the material we're drilling through. So, does that mean these are bad? No. I think they're a very good product. I think it's a very good tool. It's just, it depends on the materials you're using them through. You know, PVC, it's fine. I've had a lot of people say that they've used it in stainless steel. Perfectly fine. Thinner gauge steel, junction boxes, pull boxes for the electrical trade, perfectly fine. Just when you're trying to go through heavy gauge or heavy metal, you might want to find something a little bit more robust and suited for that task. But we wouldn't know that if we didn't do these tests. And if you like having guys do the tests so you don't have to spend money on tools that might not work for your intended application, then smash the like button. Also, leave it down below. Do you use these? Do you like them? Do you still think there's operator error? How are we doing it wrong? We want to know. With that, I want to say I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you all on the next one. You know, quite frankly, I don't mind spending the 70, 80 bucks so that you don't have to. Video's over, but I know you want more. So this is how you're going to get it. First thing you need to do is pretend you're this guy. And you're here at the birthplace of freedom. Now ring that bell like it's 1776 and let all notifications through. What? You're not subscribed yet? Well, smash this button here. After that, watch this video here, here, and maybe over here.